He was sucked in and transported to Oakland, California in the year 2020.
So tell me about yourself, Mr. Lee.
It's serious. Serious Lee. I'm searching for temporary housing until I can restore the hole I made in the space-time continuum. I'll bury a time capsule for myself with my time dilator. It's a key tool required to spur quantum teleportation and get me back to my time. It should be right about here.
It's the new weed dispensary.
You mean my time dilator is buried in a drug house for reefers?
What can I help you with today?
Dad?
Junior?
You left me 40 years ago. I didn't tell everyone my dad was a time traveler. You know what they called me? Marty McFly.
I don't get it.
It's funny.
This point forward, things are gonna be different. Starting right now. Hit it!
Father and son. Time outlaws on the run.
You're gonna have to get a job at the dispensary, Dad.
You look like a love child between Mr. T and Richard Simmons.
Remember, you're gonna have to act normal.
I'm a black man in my 30s from the year 1980s. I'm in the prime of my life, just like O.J. Simpson. You wouldn't tell him not to be a lady killer, now would you? Whoa, what?
Seriously. More like, predictably.
Good one, Gloria.
We're in a predestination paradise.
Exactly.
In a what?
You know, basically the plot to the Terminator, Back to the Future, and every other time travel science fiction movie.
No time to waste, gang. Follow me.
This is Serious Lee, the problematic time transplant. The year was 1980, when Serious Lee, a quantum physicist, martial arts expert, and electro-funk rapper, was experimenting late night in his laboratory and accidentally opened a time portal. He was sucked in and transported to Oakland, California in the year 2020.
So tell me about yourself, Mr. Lee.
It's serious. Serious Lee. I'm searching for temporary housing until I can restore the hole I made in the space-time continuum. I'll bury a time capsule for myself with my time dilator. It's a key tool required to spur quantum teleportation and get me back to my time. It should be right about here.
It's the new weed dispensary.
You mean my time dilator is buried in a drug house for reefers?
What can I help you with today?
Dad?
Junior?
You left me 40 years ago. I didn't tell everyone my dad was a time traveler. You know what they called me? Marty McFly.
I don't get it.
It's funny.
This point forward, things are gonna be different. Starting right now. Hit it!
Father and son. Time outlaws on the run.
You're gonna have to get a job at the dispensary, Dad.
You look like a love child between Mr. T and Richard Simmons.
Remember, you're gonna have to act normal.
I'm a black man in my 30s from the year 1980s. I'm in the prime of my life, just like O.J. Simpson. You wouldn't tell him not to be a lady killer, now would you? Whoa, what?
Seriously. More like, predictably.
Good one, Gloria.
We're in a predestination paradise.
Exactly.
In a what?
You know, basically the plot to the Terminator, Back to the Future, and every other time travel science fiction movie.
No time to waste, gang. Follow me.
This is Serious Lee, the problematic time transplant.
All right, welcome to Unscripted TV. I'm excited to have you all here. I just did a live. I've been live all day on Instagram, on Unscripted, and of course now I'm here with you today to wrap it up with one of our new shows, which is coming to Unscripted, called Serious Lee. No, I'm gonna do it right. Serious Lee. But no, I'm really excited to have you all on board and to have you all here to be able to check out this show. I'm super excited about this show because it's quirky and it's fun and it's something that we don't often get to see. And then, of course, I actually like Back to the Future. And in the movie, there's this moment where they say, don't, whatever you do, don't go back to 2020. And it's so ironic because this show actually features a black transplant from 1980 that comes back to, of all years, 2020. And we all know that obviously Doc knew something that we didn't know, because 2020 was a year that I would also tell people, whatever you do, don't come back to 2020. But, here we are. And I'm excited that in 2020 and at the end of 2020 that we're able to bring on something that's really so cool to Unscripted TV. So first of all, my name is Falashade Ogunmokin. I am the creator of Unscripted TV, where we are redefining our narrative surrounding the Black experience. And that is why I think that this show is so cool, because it's redefining the narrative surrounding time transplant from the 80s and what we think of people in the year 2020, and just having a sci-fi type of show that really doesn't put a whole bunch of stereotypes on us. It's refreshing and it's fun, and it's gonna get you high off laughter. You'll get the pun later. And maybe I'm not that funny. I don't know. But no, I'm just really glad to have you all here, and I hope that you all enjoy it. I really want you all to take some time to look at the Unscripted platform, because it's really dope, and we worked hard to kind of make it really cool. First things first is, obviously there's a sidebar panel where you can have your chat and you can communicate with other people. You can leave us some questions. You can also just talk about stuff that you like and talk about things that you see. Then there's a second panel. That's the second bubble. And when you click on that, you'll actually see, oh no, that is wrong. Hold on now. We got to make some adjustments. But right now what you see is that it says Mini Mondays, but it's actually supposed to show the graphic for the show that we have on tonight. So if you give me a couple seconds, and if you refresh your page, you will see that it's actually Seriously is the next thing that will be there. Definitely check it out, because what you can do is you can actually click it to see more about this amazing creator that we're going to have on tonight, whose name is Theo. I'll have him on later where we'll be able to talk about it. But for now, I definitely want you all to prepare for it. I'm sorry. Y'all see me over here trying to get stuff together. So while I get that together, making all these faces in the camera while you're looking at me, I'm actually going to get started with the first episode. So again, this is about a really, really interesting character named Seriously. But before I even get to all of that, I really want to introduce the creator of the show, whose name is Theo. And I'm not going to bring him on yet, but I am going to read off his bio to you so that you know who he is and why he is such an amazing person for this. So Theo is a narrative and documentary filmmaker based in Oakland, California. He produces films that showcase the varied stories and cultures of Black people and people of color. He studied film production at the illustrious Howard University, HU, and has been producing for over 15 years. His work has screened at dozens of film festivals across the country and streamed online through various platforms, including Revolt TV, Essence.com, Ebony, and now Unscripted TV. I'm so extra, but one day that's going to be the biggest one. So we might as well put it there now. So this is Seriously. Seriously, the problematic time transplant just won Best Sci-Fi Short for the San Francisco-based Indie Sci-Fi and Horror Film Fest, Mr. Wholehead's Warp Dimension Film Festival. That's so long. Let me see if I said it right. Okay. Seriously, the problematic time transplant just won Best Sci-Fi Short for the San Francisco-based Indie Sci-Fi and Horror Film Fest, Mr. Wholehead's Warp Dimension Film Festival. Bow. It was also a finalist in Afro Comic Con's International Film Festival. I think that Theo is an amazing person. Of course, I might be a little biased because he went to Howard University, but we breed nothing but greatness. Hello, Bison. If you're in the audience, please shout us out. But without further ado, I definitely want you all to check out this first episode of Seriously. And after the first episode of Seriously, you're going to see a few trailers of some shows that are coming on to Unscripted TV that we think that you also would be able to enjoy. After that, you're going to check out the second episode of Seriously tonight. So this is a two-part entertaining night, and we want you all to just stay engaged, to stay in the chat, to communicate with one another, and to get your questions ready, because after all of this, we're going to have that amazing person that I just introduced, Theo Hollingsworth, come on and talk about his amazing show. So here we go. I'm running episode 1, and go.
The year was 1980 when Seriously, a quantum physicist, martial arts expert, and electro-funk rapper, was experimenting late night in his laboratory and accidentally opened a time portal. He was sucked in and transported to Oakland, California in the year 2020, where he is now forced to adjust to modern society while fighting tirelessly to get back to his time. This is Seriously, the problematic time transplant.
So tell me about yourself, Mr. Lee.
It's serious. Seriously.
Seriously?
No. Seriously.
Okay. Could you tell me about yourself? Seriously.
Certainly. I'm a quantum physicist from the year 1980. My hobbies include nunchucks, drinking milk, and not doing drugs. I'm searching for temporary housing until I can restore the hole I made in the space-time continuum, at which point I'll return to the year 1980.
Okay, and how long do you think that's gonna take?
Approximately 3 to 6 months.
Alright, I feel like I can work with that. Cool, so you get the smallest room, rent's $1,200 plus another $1,200 deposit. Is that something you can handle?
Well, as I'm working with budgetary constraints, I suppose it'll have to do. But only under the condition that this is a drug-free household. And I'm allowed to practice my martial arts in the backyard.
Well, this is not a drug-free household. But you are allowed to do your martial arts in the backyard as long as you don't break no shit.
Well, you drive a hard bargain. But I'm in.
Alright, well, you got yourself a room. Congratulations. Welcome to Oakland.
Hot damn! Let's break out the whole milk and celebrate. Hit it!
It was 40 years ago today when a time portal opened in a crazy way. I was working in the lab doing advanced level math when I heard a loud commotion. It was a quantum size explosion, and then I jumped.
Ooh, yes, he jumps.
I altered the space-time continuum.
Ooh, yes, he jumps.
And now I just don't know where I belong. In California in the year 2020. Everything's so different, but the girls are still pretty. I gotta turn back time, the rent's too high, and everywhere I go, things is gentrified. A quantum leap, catastrophe. I guess it's time to get a case of Seriously, and then I jumped.
Ooh, yes, he jumps.
I altered the space-time continuum.
Ooh, yes, he jumps.
A fish that's traveled way outside his home. Give it 2 cc's of plutonium, my nunchucks, and a gallon of whole milk. It's time to get serious. Seriously.
Ooh, yes, he jumps. Ooh, yes, he jumps.
Choices, chances, and consequences. The decisions that you make or don't make, they're gonna affect your
What controls you, courage or fear?
Welcome to The Realest TV. It's your favorite host, Bakir Love, and as you can see, I have two new beautiful hosts on set with me today. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
I'm your girl, Maya Rajay.
And I'm Mika the Badass Unicorn, and we're here to make season 4 fire.
It's an excellent carb.
No
and a little bit of heavy whipping cream, little Asiago cheese, little Parmesan cheese. I'm giving y'all a free gem right now.
You better get me hungry.
I like to fully load those things with different proteins, and it's actually on my Thanksgiving menu.
Okay.
So butter poached lobster, mashed potatoes. So I take some.
Teach me something new.
Serious. Hey, Serious. You gotta open up.
Not now, James.
We gotta talk about this rent situation, Serious.
Look, James, I know I'm a little late on rent. I thought I'd be back about now, but it turns out reverse engineer quantum teleportation is proven to be much trickier than initially suspected.
But it's been like 3 weeks. You got the whole place smelling like milk, and your room looks like a time capsule. I need that rent money like ASAP.
Wait, what'd you just say?
You said you got the whole place smelling like old milk. It's a dairy farm.
Nah, after that.
That your room looks like a time capsule?
James, you're a genius. Follow me. I'll explain on the way.
Are you looking for rent, Serious?
A few weeks before I made the time leap, I realized I was getting close to a breakthrough and thought it might be safe if I buried a time capsule for myself with a few key items I may need in the future in case of an emergency. Food rations, algebra hours, and most importantly, this, my time dilator. It's a key tool required to spur quantum teleportation and get me back to my time.
Wait, so you left yourself a time capsule? And you've been here 3 months and you're just now remembering this? Serious, why wouldn't you just go straight to the time capsule?
Look, sucker, I've been under a lot of pressure recently traversing the space-time continuum and all, so maybe it slipped my mind, all right?
Where's your time capsule, Serious?
If my calculations are correct, it should be right about here. What the hell?
It's the new weed dispensary.
A dispensary?
Yeah, man, they sell weed. Flowers, oils, edibles, dabs, everything.
You mean my time dilator is buried in a drug house for reefers? Right across the street from a police station? How the hell am I supposed to get in there?
Chill. It's legal. You just walk in.
Hit that ganja man. When I'm running low. We ain't buying grams, man, need a couple low Z's, please, weed, trees, dope. Shit, call it what you...
What can I help you with today?
Yes, hello. I'd like to speak to someone about retrieving a time capsule. I mean, buying some reefer?
Okay, what do you want?
I'll have a large, please.
Okay, since it's obviously your first time ever to buy cannabis, maybe I can recommend something for you today?
Yes, that'd be fantastic.
Great.
You're in luck. This is a new strain, a hybrid I developed. It's from my own personal grow. This shit'll have you losing all sense of space and time. I call it...
Seriously.
Seriously?
No.
Seriously. I named it after my dad.
Your dad? Wait. Junior?
Dad?
All right. Hey, are you sitting on the edge of your seat? He just met his son in the reefer store. You know, like it's really cool to kind of see this show unfold. It's really cool to have you guys all here in the audience and checking it out. And it's really cool to actually have the show on Unscripted. It's really dope, and we're really excited to be able to not only witness this first installment and this premiere of Serious Lee on Unscripted, but also to have the creator here with us today. So without further ado, everyone please welcome Theo Hollingsworth to the stage. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, get excited. Get excited. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. And I just had fun watching that all over again. Just reliving how Seriously comes on up in here and meets his son in, of all places, the same place where he needs to find his daggone capsule. Like, what?
That's right. Yeah, this is it's a big moment getting it on Unscripted. I'm excited that we finally were able to get it live. So thank you so much, Sade. You're killing it.
Oh no. Look at me getting phone calls while I'm on live, right? Thank you. I appreciate that. And to be honest with you, like, Unscripted is not for me, it's for us, and it's for people like you who are making really dope content, especially during the pandemic and everything like that. So I appreciate you for being able to share your story or share your creative brain with us and being able to put that on Unscripted. So thank you, Theo.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm changing cameras over here because I can't. The lighting isn't right, so I got to make sure that
You're such a film director. You're such a creative. I get you though, because I have my whole setup, so I'm the same way. So I completely understand.
Yeah. Except for I don't think it actually works whenever I'm live. So whatever, we're gonna go with this. It's all good. I can change things up. So yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to have it on here. Oh my goodness.
Are you breaking stuff?
I'm breaking stuff over here. And I'm so like, why is the lighting? I look like I'm like Dr. Evil right now in his lab.
Give us a laugh.
Okay. And my phone is going off. Okay. I'm sorry. This live is going haywire right now. So I'm gonna just.
You know what? Okay, here it goes. I'm gonna take over for a second, and I'm gonna let you get situated.
Thank you.
Look. This is real life. You know, like, this is live, and this is what happens on lives. Things gotta happen, and you gotta change it up. But the reality is, this is what happens on set too. Like I know, and that's probably one of the questions I'm gonna ask him too. What things did he run into that kind of were thrown at him? Like what the pandemic in itself, like what things were thrown at him that kind of set him off guard while he was creating this? Let me see what's going on in the comments while he's getting stuff together. Trayoma
Okay, I think I'm good.
Oh, you're good? Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the best it's gonna be.
All right. Well, I'm gonna come back to you. I'm saying hi to Trayoma. I hope I said your name right. I'm sure he can help me pronounce it. And Mary, which is my mama. Hey, what's up? Ariana, everybody who's in there. I'd love to see you guys just write in the comments and share with your friends. Bring on your people. But now I'm going to pull back up Theo, who is the amazing creator behind Seriously. Oh.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Good?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. I think it's actually a pretty good introduction to me. If you can't tell by my random sci-fi nerd show, I am a nerd. So like me being awkward on and off camera is just part of the game. And you got to, experience some of that. Also, the show does have a stoner element to it, and it may or may not have partaken in some cannabis before this interview, which also never makes things easy. So it is what it is. But yeah, we're here now and we're good to go.
And that's not true. I do think that, and actually, I think next time we need to have somebody on from the cannabis industry to actually share how that helps, like how this is actually something that is helpful, and how in the 1980s, like they tried to paint it as a whole different picture, which is why Sirius comes back and he's like, how am I supposed to get in there when we're across the street from the police station? And now it's like, dude, like, just go in and smoke.
Yeah.
Test it out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you were able to calm down and take a breath of fresh air before you got Lucky you.
Yes. We're all good.
But no, like wow, as soon as we came on, we kind of had some fumbling happen and all that stuff. So before we even get into some of the questions about like how you came up with this, I'd like to just jump right into it and be like, did you run into any crazy situations while you were creating this? Like, what was the biggest challenge that you had when you were creating Seriously?
Honestly, it was a pretty smooth film production. I think the craziest thing maybe that happened would be, honestly, it was just crazy how cool things were, right? I was as a producer of Seriously, I was very, like everything's got to be perfect, kind of overthinking, over planning things. So in the second episode of the season, you see that we filmed inside of like a dispensary. So, in order to book a dispensary, I thought it was going to be like a really crazy process. So I was like emailing the dispensary owners like months in advance. And they were always just really like super chill about the whole process, like overly chill about it, where I was just like, guys, we're coming in tomorrow with like a full camera crew and actors. I'm gonna be dressed really weird. Like, yeah, it's all good. So we shoot, and they're like, oh yeah, we're still gonna be open while you're shooting. So like business was usual at the dispensary store, and we were just kind of filming around that. And like I was like, well, we gotta get behind the like actual like checkout counter in order to film. And they're like, yeah, go ahead. I mean, we're still going to be selling. So, I mean, it wasn't anything big, but like, like there were some audio issues that we had to cover up because there was like live weed transactions going on as we're trying to film this thing. But it worked out. We covered up any of the major audio issues. And now we have like a really cool dispensary in the series. It's a Black-owned dispensary in Oakland as well. So, yeah. Yes.
Definitely gonna have to reach out to them. They need to come on and talk about their business on here. That's really dope, and I'm glad that you were able to find that in Oakland and to be able to have them on. And they must have calmed down before you guys came in, and that's why they were just like, yeah, do what you got to do, but we're still gonna be where the money reside, where the money reside.
Right. Yeah. No, they were not tripping about a whole production coming. Like we were just like, it was like thousands of dollars worth of camera equipment, just hanging out like in front of their product. They're like, I mean, yeah, do what you got to do. So it was a positive experience. I loved shooting in Oakland. It's been very positive because everybody here is just down for the community and down for putting on for Oakland. So whereas in major, film cities like LA or New York, the business owners you're expecting them to be like, yeah, like it'll be $1,000 to shoot for 2 hours or whatever. Like that's not really even a thought that comes into the business owners' minds here in Oakland. They're just like, yeah, like come through, maybe we can barter on something. So it was just such a positive process. And then it's just so many cool like weird things. Like you pointed out earlier that the police station was right across the street from the dispensary. That wasn't even in the script that I originally wrote. We just filmed, and while we were out there, we're like, maybe we should point out that there's literally the Oakland Police Department right across the street from the dispensary. And if you were coming from 1980 and all the stigmas that there were around cannabis at the time, that idea in itself would be mind-blowing. Like, so, we definitely have to work with like kind of some of the natural, mechanics of Oakland in modern day society, which was helpful.
That's cool. That's really cool that you use that instance to put that into the show, because that is something that's just like perfect happenstance. That's like, this has to be written into the show, or it needs to be voiced. So that's cool that you were able to add that in there. I love the show. And of course, well, duh. And one of the questions that we obviously skipped, because I thought it was important to kind of hear, like what you went through. But like, how did you even come up with this idea? When did you start writing it? And when did you produce it? Did you do this during COVID? Like, I just have so many questions about how this all even came about.
Yeah. So the idea for Seriously probably goes back like almost 10 years at this point. Like I wanted to do like a graphic novel about like a time cop, like a black time cop. I'm really into time travel, obviously. And I wanted it to be kind of like a TV show Quantum Leap that used to come on, but like a comedic version of that, where this like black superhero named Sirius Lee, goes throughout time and stops events from occurring that have resulted in, like a dystopian future. And so that idea kind of was like always a nugget in my head. And then in spring of 2019, I was like, how can I do this? And how can I do it on a budget? Time travel is really hard, so from there I was like, okay, what if I just make it like one guy travels from the past to modern day society? That way I don't have to pay so much for like set direction and all the costumes and props. I would have to go into like a piece where everything's like a period piece. And so, yeah, like that idea of time travel and Seriously came back up, and like, it just kind of like stemmed from there. Like I've always wanted to do a time travel comedy. I love Back to the Future. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. I love Hot Tub Time Machine. But I don't really feel like there's been that time travel piece that's like comedic and like specifically for Black folks. There's examples of it. But I found that a lot of the examples that were like time travel specific also had this like angle of like, also we're going to explore Black pain, right? So like I'm going to go back in time to slavery, right? Or I'm going to go back in time and save somebody from getting murdered by the cops, And I was just like, you know what? Like Bill and Ted or Back to the Future, like those are movies where it was just like, we're going back in time to, you know, like to have some fun and like maybe save a family member or something like that, but like not like stories rooted in deep pain, like deep historic racial pain. And so I was just like, all right, cool. Like I'm gonna do mine. So ultimately it came from all those things. And yeah, I'm happy. I feel like on a budget, I was able to articulate what it is that I'm trying to go for. You know, like I think that if I had more of a budget, hint, hint, major motion picture studios out there, like if I could get more of a budget, I could do it even at a bigger scale, but make sure that it stays funny and relevant to the times.
Absolutely. And all of you guys listening, what he's saying is give more money and we can make this even bigger and better than it already is, which means that it's going to be crazy dope. So like we taking that plug, you know, and we're going to push the plug as well, you know? so yeah, no, that's great. And to touch on something that you said, because you're right, there are some time travel pieces where it's rooted in like the depression of being Black or anything like that. And one of the things that I actually thought about with your show is the fact that he's coming back from 1980. So he's a transplant and he's like stuck in the past trying to figure out the future. And it could have gone a different way where it could be almost thought of as somebody getting out of jail, which is one of the other storylines that a lot of people are thinking about, who maybe someone who's been in jail for 30 years, you know, like when you think about it that way, it's almost similar. But I'm glad that you were able to do it in a way where someone can relate to that way, but it's done in a more positive way, in a more fun way, and in a more uplifting way, because we don't have that. And we do need more of that, which is why I thought that it was super important to actually bring this show on. So kudos to you. And
Thank you. And actually on that point, like I always, you know, you use comparables when you're pitching like a TV show concept. So comparable or comp is like two shows that are like kind of already out in the market, or films that are already out in the market. And you know, there's a show, Tracy Morgan stars in a show called The Last OG in Brooklyn, which is about a guy who goes to prison in like the 90s or something like that, and like gets out, and like it's like Brooklyn now is like a bunch of hipsters. And that's one of the two shows that I like as one of the comparables to it. But the other comparable is Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. So it's like if The Last OG in Brooklyn met Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery. So you got this like guy who's like a fish out of water just because of like generational differences, mixed with this guy who's a fish out of water because of, you know, time travel, and then a sprinkle of like big campy musicals. Yeah,
you know what? That is funny. I love the songs. And when I first watched it, I was like, okay. But now I'm like singing them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I singing Father and Son? And I'm like, no.
Yeah. That's an honor, yo. Cause like, I mean, you know, I don't know if you remember me from Howard. I used to be one of the spoken word dudes. You know, it was like right after Def Poetry Jam, and so like I was spending a lot of time in the dorm room writing poems and raps and all this stuff, and like. But at the same time, I was going to school for film, so I just was like, well, all this writing, these weird raps and stuff, like I guess that was just a fun passion that I had that I'll never use again. And then, you know, kind of full circle, now that I'm like into my film career and coming back to this show, it's like, oh, cool. Like I'm still leveraging a lot of those like writing skills, because I wrote all of the lyrics for this. I worked with a producer to make the music. Right. So now it's like, it's kind of full circle. And that's what I felt like has been like one of the funnest parts for this for me. You know, we only showed the first 2 episodes a night, but I composed 8 new original songs that you'll see throughout the rest of the season for it. I'm also now kind of writing like a prequel to this character. So I'm writing a whole bunch of new music for that. Yeah, no, it's fun. Like I'm learning. I picked up a keyboard. You can probably see in the back here, my little keyboard over here. I'm trying to like learn that a little bit so I can get into some more original music composition. And it's so great. Like the genre of music that I chose for this too is very specific, right? So it's like, of course he's a rapper, but he's an 80s rapper. And also there's a very specific genre of 80s rap called electro funk hip hop. So like you may have heard of like, you hear a lot of like electro music mixed in with hip hop beats. Salt and Pepper's Push It has that like kind of an electro so that's kind of like that genre. There's a number of other artists like the Freaks Go Out at Night by oh man, what's the name of that? I'm forgetting now. But like I nerded out discovering a bunch of like electro music, and that's become like so integral to the series now, and an area that I have a lot of fun with, because there's also not like a lot of pressure. Like I want the songs to be catchy and slap, but like I don't expect them to break like, you know, the top 100 on any Billboard singles. I'm just like, a lot of it is like, oh, I can write this really easy because it's like old school hip hop where it's very kind of like nursery styles type, like da 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 da. But like with the right beat behind it and a good chorus, it can still slap. I want it to get stuck in your head. So hopefully we'll come out with an album at some point, and you know, it'll go platinum because of all the people that don't like simplistic 80s hip hop lyrics.
Absolutely. And you know, I went to my friend Google and found that it was Houdini who made The Freaks Come Out at Night.
Yes.
Freaks Come Out at Night. And I feel it. I can hear it, especially with the dun, dun, dun. So I'm glad that I can kind of reference where you got your ideas from, or where you got the vibe and the feelings from, because it's definitely prevalent, and I think you did a great job with that. Now, you said, first of all, when you first see it, you see that he moves in with James, and then it jumps like 3 months before they decide to go to this dispensary to finally get his time capsule. After he's smelling up the place like milk and all that fun stuff, he finally does that after 3 months. So in those 3 months, what happens?
We talked about this earlier in the Instagram Live. That's to be determined, right? Like I had to write a series. I knew I wanted it to this is kind of a proof of concept. So I didn't want to write 10-minute episodes. Every episode's like 5 minutes or less, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to skip some things to be able to get the key points. I want to tell a full story in a short amount of time. So I definitely left like a 3-month gap, right? Like this character's serious, and that's what you get in these first 2 episodes, is like you get a glimpse of like Sirius's genius but absent-mindedness, right? This is a character who lands, has enough wherewithal to somehow get some money together, go on Craigslist, get an apartment 40 years from the future, but then he like spends all that time trying to figure out, like he gets his room together, he like gets all this 80s stuff in his room, and then he's like, I guess in there just kind of figuring out, how can I reverse engineer quantum teleportation? And it takes him 3 months, and he gets behind on his rent, and his roommate's got to be like, hey, like I need rent. And he's like, oh yeah, like I buried a time capsule for myself in Oakland with my time dilator in it that can get me back to my time. So you get to learn in these 2 episodes that he's like absent-minded as hell. And so from there, like, you know, he goes to the dispensary to like uncover it. But I want to definitely go back now and explore what happens in those 3 month period where he was just kind of messing around, just kind of like, I guess, trying to figure stuff out. But also at the same time, it's like 3 months in 2020, or however many months in 2020. I mean, at this point, it could be 12 months in 2020. He's like got to be getting acclimated with what 2020 is really about, you know. And he's also got to be living through a global pandemic. So that's kind of something that I've been toying around with, the idea of doing kind of a never before released series Lee, the Quarantine Months, or Seriously, the Quarantine Chronicles, where it's just kind of a buddy comedy where him and his roommate are like learning what 2020 is while living together during a global pandemic. So, we're in the early stages of it, but I'm hoping to get that out soon and have that be kind of some free, even more bite-sized content that would get you further into the world of Seriously.
And then it gets you back into your character of Seriously. So can you tell us just a little bit about the influences around your character? Because she's such a strong, like, I can't even do it. He's such a strong character that's definitely going to be something that will resonate with people. Like, I have uncles that talk like that, so like, can you just tell us a little bit about that character?
Absolutely. So the inspirations for this character, I wanted a big 80s archetype, a big black 80s archetype. And so I could not think of a better example of that than Mr. T. As I've doing research about him, Mr. T is a wonderful human being. Also, I saw some stand-up comedy by one of his daughters recently, which was funny too. Random side note, but Mr. T, major influence for Seriously. Also, I would say Doc Brown from Back to the Future, obviously. They're, just the big Marty, do you understand what's going on right now? Like, that's kind of like that sense of urgency at all times, and that chaoticness. That's a big influence. I also would say that kind of the martial arts element of things, like this being a black character from the 80s that's into martial arts. I'm inspired a lot by Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, which is just an amazing movie, and obviously Sho'nuff, the bad guy in Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, major influence. So I would say that those three, and then a fourth is my dad, of course. This series is called Seriously, the Problematic Time Transplant. So it's a time transplant. Somebody transported 40 years from the past to modern day Oakland. Now, granted, my dad is not a time transplant at all, but he's from Michigan. He's from Detroit, Michigan, right? / Queens, New York. So whenever I brought him to Oakland, it might as well have been as if I warped 40 years into the future, because things that are just normal for us, people having a picnic and smoking a joint and having some cops roll by. My dad was out there the boys are coming, and everybody's smoking a joint. What are you talking about? This is legal, we're all good. So, and veganism, that's just something that out here, my dad's still, he's old school. He's a great man. But also he's somebody who still struggles with some of his eating habits. He's still struggling to pronounce quinoa correctly. He still calls weed reefer. So it's all right, a lot of that, a lot of this story comes from the comedy of even if you weren't transplanted, but this is just, Oakland is just such a progressive culture that if you're not from this city and you're old school, you might as well have been warped 40 years into the future.
No, that's cool, and I'm glad you brought up your dad, because that also gives us another insight on how you were able to create it and what types of things went into the writing and the experience that you had with it. I think it'd be cool to actually run the first 2 episodes again before we actually get off of here. So with that being said, I'd love to know let's think, because I wrote down a whole bunch of questions, but I think it's a natural connection that you're able to make with the audience and with the content that you've been able to produce. So what do you think is the next step for Theo? And what do you think people should look forward to in the next episodes? Because obviously we just showed episode 1 and 2, and we got 10 episodes to get through. So what do you think people should expect from the next episodes moving forward?
Yeah. Okay. So, I definitely think that you should tune in and watch weekly on Unscripted at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that you can see more of Oakland, the beauty that is Oakland and the artistry that is in Oakland, the cool businesses that are in Oakland. Also, so you can learn more about. We end episode 2 on a cliffhanger, right? So, Sirius has a son. So we dive more into the story of Junior Lee, who is Sirius's 45-year-old estranged son. So you want to definitely learn more about that. You definitely want to stay tuned and watch more so that you can see some of these fire music videos. Yeah. Like, y'all, I spent so much time planning out these music videos. This time last year, I was like storyboarding out all the music videos. So I was going down the rabbit hole of watching Cameo, Salt and Peppa, Heavy D, Too Short, MC Hammer, Bobby Brown. So I want you to kind of like watch these music videos and see what influences that you can detect. I also want you to stay tuned for our cliffhangers at the end of the season. We're going to be introducing some new characters, some more badass characters. I would say, yeah, I mean, and just like the cinematography, the comedy, there's so many influences for this. It's like, look, like there's a lane for everything out there. And my lane is like Black nerd pop culture, so like if that in any way resonates with you, if you like sci-fi, if you like action, if you like comedy, or if you just like pop culture references, then I definitely think that this is a series that you're going to enjoy. And then hopefully, like, I want to be able to come back on and do more lives. Mm-hmm. We've been hosting a 80s trivia night on my Instagram for Seriously, where we just throw out 80s questions and see, who's a real 80s baby out there. Like, I've had some 90s babies on there who have actually done pretty well. So like, I want to be able to come back on and do more stuff like this with y'all, connect with y'all, invite y'all to come on. We got crazy paraphernalia. Yo, I got right here, I got a Seriously button, I got a Seriously poster, and I got a freaking Seriously face mask.
What? Yes.
We're gonna have some ill swag that we're gonna be, giving out, giving giveaways and stuff. Like, and hopefully we'll be putting out more music videos, more music, more silly short content for social media. So, yeah, like. And in the meantime, also, I got a job. I just got a job at Pixar, y'all. So like, I'll be pushing out more content for Seriously, while at the same time helping to create the next dope animated film. So hopefully y'all can put enough energy behind this where Pixar's like, yo, we need to turn Seriously into an animated feature film. Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully that was a big enough sell.
That was a huge sell, and congratulations on your new position. Like, that is dope. Like, this is obviously a testament that you are just doing exactly what you're supposed to do, creating during a pandemic, making a new character that we know we're dropping the seed. Everybody is definitely going to know him soon. And then having a new position at Pixar, which is a great and amazing company that everyone knows of. So, like, it's a pleasure to have you on here. I'm excited for you. I think that you have a bright future ahead. Seriously. For real. Like, yeah. So I'm excited for you. But with that, I think it'd be dope if we could just run episode 1 and 2. What do you think?
I love it. Let's do it again. Let's run it back.
All right. So we are running it back retro style. Episode 1 straight into episode 2. We thank you guys for coming on. And we are excited to show you this again, especially if you came on a little late at CP time and missed it. So here we go. Running episode 1 back for you right now.
The year was 1980 when Seriously, a quantum physicist, martial arts expert, and electro-funk rapper, was experimenting late night in his laboratory and accidentally opened a time portal. He was sucked in and transported to Oakland, California in the year 2020, where he is now forced to adjust to modern society while fighting tirelessly to get back to his time. This is Serious Lee, the problematic time transplant.
So tell me about yourself, Mr. Lee.
It's serious. Serious Lee.
Seriously?
No. Seriously.
Okay. Could you tell me about yourself? Seriously.
Certainly. I'm a quantum physicist from the year 1980. My hobbies include nunchucks, drinking milk, and not doing drugs. I'm searching for temporary housing until I can restore the hole I made in the space-time continuum, at which point I'll return to the year 1980.
Okay, and how long do you think that's gonna take?
Approximately 3 to 6 months.
Alright, I feel like I can work with that. Cool, so you get the smallest room, rent's $1,200 plus another $1,200 deposit. Is that something you can handle?
Well, as I'm working with budgetary constraints, I suppose it'll have to do. But only under the condition that this is a drug-free household. And I'm allowed to practice my martial arts in the backyard.
Well, this is not a drug-free household. But you're allowed to do your martial arts in the backyard as long as you don't break no shit.
Well, you drive a hard bargain. But I'm in.
All right, well, you got yourself a room. Congratulations. Welcome to Oakland.
Hot damn! Let's break out the whole milk and celebrate. Hit it!
It was 40 years ago today when a time portal opened in a crazy way. I was working in the lab doing advanced level math when I heard a loud commotion. It was a quantum size explosion, and then I jumped.
Oh, yes, he jumped.
I altered the space-time continuum.
Oh, yes, he jumped.
And now I just don't know where I belong. In California in the year 2020. Everything's so different, but the girls are still pretty. I gotta turn back time, the rent's too high, and everywhere I go, things is gentrified. A quantum leap, catastrophe. I guess it's time to get a case of Serious Lee, and then I jumped.
Oh, yes, he jumped.
I altered the space-time continuum.
Oh, yes, he jumped.
A fish that's traveled way outside his home. Give it 2 cc's of plutonium, my nunchucks, and a gallon of whole milk. It's time to get serious. Seriously.
Oh, yes, he jumped. Oh, yes, he jumped.
Serious, hey, Serious, you gotta open up.
Not now, James.
We gotta talk about this rent situation, Serious.
Look, James, I know I'm a little late on rent. I thought I'd be back by now, but it turns out reverse engineering quantum teleportation is proven to be much trickier than initially suspected.
But it's been like 3 weeks. You got the whole place smelling like milk, and your room looks like a time capsule. I need that rent money like ASAP.
Wait, what'd you just say?
You said you got the whole place smelling like old milk. It's a dairy farm.
Nah, after that.
That your room looks like a time capsule?
James, you're a genius. Follow me. I'll explain on the way.
Are you looking for rent, Serious?
A few weeks before I made the time leap, I realized I was getting close to a breakthrough and thought it might be safe if I buried a time capsule for myself with a few key items I may need in the future in case of an emergency. Food rations, algae roll-outs, and most importantly, this, my time dilator. It's the key tool required to spur quantum teleportation and get me back to my time.
Wait, so you left yourself a time capsule? And you've been here 3 months and you're just now remembering this? Sirius, why wouldn't you just go straight to the time capsule?
Look, sucker, I've been under a lot of pressure recently traversing the space-time continuum and all. So maybe it slipped my mind, all right?
There's your time capsule, Sirius.
If my calculations are correct, it should be right about here. What the hell?
It's the new weed dispensary.
A dispensary?
Yeah, man, they sell weed. Flowers, oils, edibles, dabs, everything.
You mean my time dilator's buried in a drug house for reefers? Right across the street from a police station? How the hell am I supposed to get in there?
Chill. It's legal. You just walk in.
Hit that ganja, man, when I'm running low. We ain't buying grams, man, need a couple low Z's, please, weed, trees, dope. Shit, call it what you...
What can I help you with today?
Yes, hello. I'd like to speak to someone about retrieving a time capsule. I mean, buying some reefer?
Okay, what do you want?
I'll have a large, please.
Okay, since it's obviously your first time ever to buy cannabis, maybe I can recommend something for you today?
Yes, that'd be fantastic.
Great.
You're in luck. This is a new strain, a hybrid I developed. It's from my own personal grow. This shit'll have you losing all sense of space and time. I call it
Seriously.
Seriously?
No.
Seriously. I named it after my dad.
Your dad? Wait. Junior?
Dad?
Yay! We had a great encore. Thank you so much for being on here with us. So, you look surprised.
Oh, I didn't know. I was like literally chilling on Facebook. I didn't know we were cutting back to
Yeah, no, I just wanted to tell everybody bye because I think that it was dope, and I'm glad that we were able to share it. And I'm gonna let everyone go, but I'm just making sure that you don't have anything else that you wanted to say to anybody.
Nah, I mean, like, I guess I feel like I just think I'm so intrigued. I'm out here in the Bay Area. I'm in, I've worked in tech for a number of years. And so I'm really, really impressed with like a Black founder. So I think that like, this is like my series is just, one of many that you've brought in. I think all the kudos should go to you, Sade. You're doing really amazing things here. And so I'm encouraging everybody to continue to follow and support Unscripted, and of course tell your people about it. I'm excited to see what other new content comes on the platform. And then obviously you can follow me. I have at the end of all the episodes, the Facebook and Instagram stuff. So seriously _series on Instagram. Facebook, it's facebook.com/seriously series. So do that stuff. I gotta continue to just make art, but like in the meantime, it's on y'all audiences to continue to support really awesome Black content and really awesome ass platforms like Unscripted. So continue to do that, and thank y'all for joining. I don't know how many folks are actually like on here right now. I'm assuming it's 12 to 8 million. So thank all millions of you out there watching right now, and thank you again, Sade, for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. And, next time, and as we continue to keep building, I'm hoping that it's going to be even more millions that are going to be coming on and watching it. But I appreciate you for believing in me and Unscripted and what we're doing, because we're only going to get bigger and better. The same with you, which is why I'm so excited to have you on board. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for sharing your genius with Unscripted and with the world. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you one more again, because I throw those out a lot, but also to enjoy your night. Happy holidays, whatever it is that you're celebrating. And to make sure that everybody knows that we will be airing episode 2 and 3 next week on Unscripted TV.
Episode 3 and 4, right?
Oops, episode 3 and 4 next week on Unscripted TV. And who knows, we might even do another live, but we'll keep you guys posted. But with that, this was great. I think you're awesome. You have such great energy, and I'm really excited to see more from Seriously. So next Monday, I'll definitely be tuning in at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock PST, Pacific Standard Time. And I hope that everybody in between all of the other Mountain Time, GMT, wherever you're located, that you end up coming on board and watching it as well. So awesome stuff. Thank you, Theo. We're out.
All right, y'all. Peace.